Welcome to St. Mary's. We're honored that you've chosen to join us. If you or someone you live with does not feel well or are exhibiting any symptoms of COVID-19, we ask that you stay home and rest. The St. Mary's Task Force for Returning to Worship has diligently been creating and reviewing steps for the continuation of our corporate life of worship. Given the rapidly changing conditions of the COVID-19 pandemic, the following protocols are subject to change and relate only to outdoor worship. Staff will continue to evaluate conditions on a weekly basis and make necessary adjustments based on the best available information. We are grateful for the directives and guidelines put forth by the Episcopal Diocese of Virginia, the State of Virginia, and the CDC. We have utilized these to foster a safe and healthy environment for our staff, parishioners, and neighbors. As you arrive for worship, please enter the Glebe Road side of the church. As we gather, we would ask that you follow the following protocols. Social distancing is required throughout the entire campus. A minimum of 6 feet of space must be maintained between individuals or family units. All people, children 2 years and older, are required to wear a mask at all times while on the St. Mary's campus. People should bring their own mask. The church will have a limited supply of masks to offer anyone who does not bring one. Hand sanitizing stations will be available at designated points. Everyone must check in with the registrar upon arrival. Be careful. Make sure to always maintain 6 feet of social distance. Spacing will be limited upon first returning. We will utilize an online reservation system to help with this. The system will both ensure adequate spacing and allow us to contact worshipers should we need to notify them of a case of COVID-19. After check-in, each participant must have his or her temperature taken using an automatic thermometer. In the case of a temperature of 100.4 or higher, there will be 2 additional checks. If these confirm an elevated temperature, the parishioner will be asked to refrain from worshiping and to seek medical advice. As you make your way to the point, you will find markers indicating proper distancing. Children and youth are required to stay with their parents at all times while on church ground. Ushers will greet parishioners when they arrive at the entrance to the point. Please follow ushers' instructions. We are unable to accommodate seating requests in this phase. Ushers will begin seating from the front of the worship space and work to the back. Pods will indicate proper seating. Please go to the pod that the usher directs you to. In the case of inclement weather conditions, we will make every attempt to send a cancellation email 30 minutes before the service begins. If while worshiping there is a sudden and unexpected weather event, parishioners will be directed to their cars. Please bring a folding chair or a blanket to sit on as you prepare for worship. Prayer books and hymnals will not be available. A limited number of worship bulletins will be available, or you can access the service via your phone. Morning prayer will continue to be our primary form of worship as we become familiar with these new patterns of gathering. At the conclusion of all services, parishioners should wait to receive verbal instruction from an usher as to when you and your family can exit. Restroom availability is limited at this time. If you should need to use the restroom in the middle of worship, please maintain social distance and make your way to the perimeter of the point to exit. Access to restrooms are only available on the Glebe Road side of the church. An usher will direct those in need of a restroom one at a time. The restrooms are required to be cleaned by staff following each use. So we ask that you try to avoid needing to use the restroom at St. Mary's if possible. Don't forget, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Following the service, parishioners are asked to refrain from congregating outside the church or in the parking areas. We want to keep all pathways open and safely accessible. As we grow familiar with these new ways of gathering, we hope to be able to expand our offerings. Remember that you can always join us for worship at stmarysarlington.org.